Alright folks, how are we doing? It's Shabash, it's Orna. Welcome back to the channel. It is May 2022 and we have some cool, awesome new stuff in Orna, and this is going to be a little roundup. I know I've not been, I know I've missed a couple of these, but yeah, we're getting right back into it. May 2022, we're on the playorna.com calendar website. Really useful. It tells you what's coming. So yeah, the danger's still out there. Definitely still dangerous out there. It keeps going on. So we still have the reduced cooldown on gauntlets. I wonder if that's ever going to go away. But then the main event this month is the Plight of Apollyon. There's a couple of raids, followers, monsters as well, some new stuff. We'll go through those in a moment. This is a completely new boss, and all this stuff is completely new. So that is the main event carrying for the entire month of May. And then we've got a couple of 10-day events. We've got the Dioscuri coming back, May 10th to the 20th. A couple of followers to pick up there, Caster and Pollux. And then we've got a 10-day fishing competition. We've got Rogue Red Muskellunge on high alert there. So win an exclusive angler character sprite. That was the last sprite. Although the first competition, there was the Thulu sprite, so potentially there's another sprite, who knows. So yeah, get your rods out for that. May 19th we've got Ornaversary. This will be 4 years, I think, and I've got something planned for that, so stay tuned. But basically, if you can play a bit on this day, the rewards are absolutely insane. Plenty extra XP Orns like we're used to, but you also get double item rewards from end of dungeons. So this is your best chance to get Ornate Band of Gods, Ornate Old Northern Crown, Ornate Carl's Ring, etc, etc. And then we also have the Return of the Phoenix coming back for the end of the month, May 20th to the 31st. So you've got the great opportunity to pick up the two awesome followers, Tier 8 Phoenix, Tier 10 Ashen Phoenix. But then we also have, same as the January this year, back when after I took my break, we've got the kind of the ash plumed and the ember plumed gear that gives the temp buffs, and the rubies, the ashen ruby adornments, basically acts like the life steal. So stay tuned for that end of the month. Those bosses will be appearing in dragon roosts, as well as the monsters as well. And then we've got a nice little Orn event just to round off the month. So lots to look forward to. There was also a hint of GPS feature update coming. Stay tuned for that. But let's get into the raids for this month. So we've got Young Apollyon, Tier 5, Kingdom Raid, and World Raid. Will be summonable by Tier 6, 7 characters. I believe this is the lowest tier World Raid, lower tier than the Big Gazer. So really interesting there if you want to pop some of these scrolls. But interestingly, it's predominantly elemental based attacks, which is a bit different to the Beguiled Apollyon, the Tier 10 version. But let's talk about the gear, because that's what we're here for. The spectral stuff is pretty awesome, and got a heavy HP focus. So I think this is the highest kind of HP gear you can get at Tier 5. Defense is, and the resistance for the magic based gear is in line with the highest available for this tier. You do have negative ward. That will end up being positive by like a few percent, but yeah, playing with ward at these mid tiers, we're not focused too much about. A little bit of foresight. Adornment slots, you're gonna get a lot of adornment slots if you get high quality, and immunity to Doom. So probably the only way to get Doom immunity, I believe. But I've got Tier 5 kind of armor gear open up here. So see spectral stuff, looking at about 115, but HP 100 and 15. There's nothing else really that comes close at all. And HP in these mid tiers is really, really awesome. So carrying on that fact that these mid tier event raid gear is really useful. If you compare it to the Tier 5 Hell's Garb, okay, it comes with blind and stunned and the balanced defense and resistance, but you know, it's definitely on par with that. And you level this if you get a. Why don't we do just an assessment of a normal guard? So you just get a standard spectral one here, and HP is going to give you 265 HP there, which is quite significant at tier 5. So get a high quality one of this. This will carry you for a couple of tiers. No bother at all. Let's quickly test out what a 200% will get you. And you're looking at 530 HP at level 10, which is insane, really. If you get a full set of these, that's like gonna double your base HP. Tier 5, absolute madness. So really great gear. All of the armor there is really nice. One kind of new thing is the Mystic Qatar, which is a nice little weapon. I'm not really sure it will beat out arrows for melee characters, especially with volley 2, that free skill. I mean, you get temp buffs for attack and magic. Get slots as well. You do get immunity to the 4 base elements, so it's like it's kind of like getting a Ring of Anwin 2 tiers early, which is pretty nice. So you might want to just keep one of any quality and basically use it for the status immunities rather than the actual stats or usability you get. You do get some slots as well, so you level it up and you'll get a few extra slots, a little bit of ward as well. So it's, for tier 5, a nice little option. Definitely recommend playing about it, see if you like it, if you're leveling up. So yeah, a memory of younger Apollyon. We're basically fighting memories here. And the tier 10 version will move to the Beguiled Apollyon. Again, memory of a younger Apollyon. Also available as a world raid. And yeah, the skills here are completely non-elemental. He's kind of forgotten how to use elemental stuff. It's like elementalist based magic, or physical based magic, or attack with arcane strikes on top. Notice that is this the? I thought this was the codex. I was expecting to see immunities and stuff here. Basically, this guy attacks. This guy is weak to arcane damage. I better check if the tier 5 is also weak. Bear with me one moment. Oh, that's not. Okay, so the tier 5 young Apollyon, weak to arcane. So you get a weapon with arcane on it, or you use arcane strikes. You're going to do a lot of damage there, and same with the tier 10 version as well. So be sure to check out the codex stuff if you are wanting to complete the codex entry. Refract there is like a cheap little counter attack. Just be sure not to attack when you see that. Yeah, pretty standard tier 10 boss, pretty brutal. But just do your best, work your way up. There's got high resistance, you know, it's got balanced skills here. So burst 3, it's got high pen. Arcane strikes, it's got high pen as well. So kind of have to deal with that. But the tier 10 version of this gear, the Beguiled gear, basically takes the HP of the spectral stuff and puts it into another dimension. Base stats aren't that bad. You get foresight, you get small amounts of ward that will go positive. You get lots of dormant slots, but look at this HP, just under 500 base HP. This is the highest HP gear in the game. Like it outclasses Balder gear by a significant amount. If we check let's check some of these. If we just take this Beguiled armor, assess it. So, assessing a standard version here, you're looking at yeah, 1300, 1200 HP. Yeah, small positive ward. But remember, you get how many slots? I think 8 slots. Where are we? Beguiled. So 4 slots. Let me check my codex because I got a nice little item earlier. So yeah, Master Forging this will give you 9 slots plus an extra slot when you God Forge. And if you get high ornate quality of these armor, you're looking at a base HP of 1800, which is ridiculous. Kind of stats are fairly balanced, like mid-range. The main stat is like looking at 1200 plus maybe 550. The second stat. 10 slots at Godforge, so you can get another 2000 HP on top of this thing, which is absolutely ridiculous. If you look at Immortal Jewels, if you really want to go that way. So 3 what? Oh, it's pretty ridiculous. Remember, you double that in PvP. So really interesting gear here. HP taken to the max. So hope you get lucky with that. But let's look at the tier 10 version of the Mystic Qatar, because this is actually quite interesting in terms of build usability. It's got base crit, 4% crit, which is not too bad. Bit of foresight, bit of ward. That actually will be fairly useful once you level it up if you get a good high quality version. And it seems to be kind of based for Realm Shifter. However, it's nice to have the option. I'm not saying it's going to be. I'm not saying it's better than one thing or another. Other offhands like an Arisen shield or Hell's Feathers. It means we just have an option, because again, you've got the immunity to the 4 basic status ailments. So it unlocks the Ring of Anwin accessory slot. The dex, I don't know if we can really talk about the dex. Godforge this, you get a 165% ward if you get a really high ornate. So let's say 150, 160% ward if you get a good one. You know, that's kind of on par with an Atlas, which is a stun immunity shield offhand, very usable. Get that little bit of crit there. So, you know, it's definitely an interesting piece. You also get the pseudo swordplay buffs. We don't need to talk about counterattack 2. I don't believe it's very usable. But yeah, opening up the Ring of Anwin slot is quite interesting. Oh yeah, of course, it's an offhand, so you're going to be probably stuck with the 4 dormant slots, I believe. But yeah, really nice option to have. Be nice to see what the builds people come up with. The ward is actually is really not too bad. You might think it was a bit lower, but yeah, this is definitely more usable than the current Qatars we have in the game. So definitely a focus for people there, and the HP stuff, yeah, for sure. Try and pick something up there. So that's the raids done. Let's have a look at the followers, because these actual followers drop something quite interesting. Now, all of these appear in Mystic Caves. So yeah, Mystic Caves, they were kind of made relevant with the new questing, the new main storyline quests, but especially this month, all these guys appear in Mystic Caves only. We've got the tier 5 versions. Sorry, these are followers, my bad. Yeah, we're looking at monsters here. These are the tier 5 versions, and then we have the tier 8 Apollyon's Apprentice also. So the tier 5 all drop a book of one of the basic elements, and you can see each one is relevant to one of the main faction elements: earth, fire, lightning, and water. And the books that they drop are quite interesting. They have a chance to give alignment to an element. And if you haven't come across alignments yet, previously the only way to get them was via the Kerberos pet. And when you are aligned with an element, you get a 50% bonus to damage of that element, which is, you know, equivalent to double ups. if you like. You also, however, take double damage to the kind of opposing element. So for Earth, you would actually take double fire damage, regardless if you use the fire resistance skill. That can be counterattacked by having a fire resistance on your gear. So if you have the resistance actually on your gear, you can kind of bypass the negative side to these alignments. So yeah, if you haven't come across alignments before, take a deeper look into it, see exactly what your element, what your faction element is used to. I really think these are going to be awesome raid items, especially for mages. Like in the mid game, this is like 50% damage buff, which is actually insane. If you are fire faction, you do kind of get blasted here. Fire is not one of the best raiding elements, I'm afraid, but you will just have to make do. Actually getting a dormant slot as well. I'm not really sure what you'd put in there. Maybe more mana, a little bit of magic, so it's not nothing. But yeah, 50% damage bonus is seriously worth considering. Definitely play around with it. It's really, really cool there. If you're making a new character mid-game ult, or you're a new player going up the magic path, yeah, try and pick a book up, even if it's just standard quality or lower quality. And because if you get an extra 40 or 50 magic, is not going to make the difference compared to a 50% damage bonus like on top of everything. So those are the tier 5 books, and then we have the tier 8 Apollyon's Apprentice, just the one mob, but she drops a bunch of books, and these are aligned with the 4 elements which currently have no faction: Dark, Light, Arcane, and Dragon. So similarly to the elemental books, these give you alignment of Arcane, Holy, Dark, Dragon, and this is the first time in the game we have this option available. Interestingly, these tier 8 book gives a little bit of attack damage as well. Interesting there, but not sure how many attack-based builds are going to normally use a book as an offhand, but there you go. And you can see it gives you arcane alignment, and also causes the thing that you'd expect. So arcane damage has a chance to cause one of the 4 basic ailments. Book of Light will give a chance to blind and stun. Notice the additional chance to actually give the alignment when you do. So basically doing any kind of action, any skill-based action or attack or defending, it has the chance to proc the alignment. Dragon, of course, causes blight, and the Book of Darkness causes sleep. So yeah, really quite interesting. From what I have heard, these alignments of these 4 alignments here don't actually have a weakness yet. I'm not sure if that's going to change, so just be careful there. But currently they're not actually giving a weakness like the normal or the 4 basic element alignments do. But again, just try and pick one book of everything up just in case you're going to use it. Book of Arcane, for example, could be useful this month against the Apollyon raids. You might want to pick one up, but yeah, pick one up of any quality just so you have it, and then good luck. We also have 8 followers available this month, which is quite a significant amount. We've got 4 tier 5 followers and 4 tier 10 followers, and these are the apprentices and the pupils, the 4 different factions: Earth, Fire, Water, and Lightning. And yeah, the skills there they're purely elemental based, but they also have the Earth alignment skill or the elemental alignment skill. So if you don't pick up a book, or if you are, for example, a melee based mid-tier character, you might want to use one of these pets to get the faction alignment for raiding. Again, you still get the as long as you get that alignment up via any kind of source, you're still going to have the 50% damage bonus. So definitely worth trying out. I really recommend just trying it, because that you know, this is the first time you could pick up an alignment before tier 8. And then the tier 10 versions of these are actually have tier 10 faction god skills, pretty high penetrating skills, and also cause the alignment as well. I'm not 100% sure these are going to see more use over Ashen Phoenix or the Chimeras, but nice to have, especially as a collector's item. They also got the Frozen Baylor mob look as well, which is pretty cool. So that is the Plight of Apollyon event. If you want some codexing tips, make sure to check out Conk's Orna monthly event checklist. It's got a couple of nice tips on there. We'll quickly skim over the Dioscuri event and the Ashen Phoenix event again. Essentially, yeah, there's one raid that's Kingdom and World raid, and then you have Caster and Pollux as bosses, and also have Caster and Pollux as pets as well. The Dioscuri raid gear is quite interesting, to say the least. It is hybrid based, so if you look at, for example, the Dioscuri ring, it gives you additional, it's a percentage based off attack to magic and magic to attack. And then, for example, the Azure twin bow, yeah, attack and magic, hybrid weapon. So it does cause frozen. Yeah, tier 9 gear. Pretty interesting. I've never really used any of the weaponry from the Dioscuri raid. You also get the Dioscuri mead consumable, which gives double crit up, also sells for a decent amount. In terms of pets, actually, Caster and Pollux are quite cool. They are quite useful. So again, if you're kind of mid-tier, you might pick up Casters. Definitely a usable pet. But yeah, Dioscuri, quite happy to see it back only for 10 days rather than the full month as it was last year. And then Return to the Phoenix, definitely pick up the pets if you have reached tier 8 or tier 10 recently. Definitely want to look out for those. And we kind of, I guess we kind of covered the gear available from the, in terms of the, that's not how you spell Phoenix. In terms from the bosses, the tier 10 boss that appears in the Dragon Roost, or is it tier 9, can actually Godforge your equipment, which is interesting. Yeah, it's tier 9 actually. Fallen Ashen Phoenix does Godforge. The tier 5 boss, I believe, doesn't. But if we look at, for example, Ash Plume Boots, yeah, you get the temp, attack, defense, magic, resistance. It's basically like casting Swordplay 3, but this can happen anytime you use a skill, which is, yeah, pretty cool. Stat-wise, not amazing, but definitely usable, and you get a bunch of slots as well. You get loads of adornment slots for you to use as you please. But the probably most interesting thing is the adornments, these Ashen Rubies, which slightly heal your wounds when damaging an opponent, and they do stack. So getting sticking a couple of these in, it can really counter the effects of Berserk if you want to stay at high health. And who knows, maybe there will be reasons to stay at high health in the future for certain classes. So that is the May Orna Roundup in terms of events. As I said earlier, if you want to check out some kind of more tips and tricks, check out Conk's checklist if you want to knock off all of these codex entries. But let me know what you're most excited for this month down in the comments below. If you are looking forward to fishing again for the first time in a year, Ornaversary, that's going to be huge. Got a nice little idea planned for that, and Return of the Phoenix as well to round off the month. So best of luck in picking up some Beguiled or Spectral Apollyon gear, and big thanks to all of the Arisen Orna Legends for supporting my content, and the Orna Legends Discord and website as well. Et merci à Mowiss pour la miniature. Thank you to Mowiss for the awesome thumbnail also. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Ciao.